Cecilia Butler, Washington Park Advisory Council, Washington Park Historical Society, and several other organizations. The first time I came before you, the board of the Chicago Transit Authority, was in 1995 for the same issue, and that's the old historic station on the Green Line at 55th Street in Garfield. Now, the last time I came before you was October 13, 2011, which makes that at least 6 or 7 times I've talked to you over the past 15 years or so for the same location. Now, something has changed since I last came to you, and that's the red line, and that's the reconstruction, and what the community has been made aware of in the last 6 to 8 weeks as to what you, the board, must do to rehab a location. Well, you, the CTA, will be bringing thousands of people to that same location where you now use the storage that we as the community have been asking for to rehab. Our money, willing to do it, no problem. Since those, well, within the last 6 weeks, the CTA came to the community. The Washington Park Chamber of Commerce had a meeting, and of course I was there, and I submitted to everyone, like I've done for the past few years, our idea of what we could do for our community at 55th Street. Again, spending our organization's money that was promised to us. At that meeting, the community and the gentleman that represented you and represents you extremely well was Mr. Coleman, and he can, I'm sure, support the idea that everyone in that meeting supported the idea of the Washington Park Historical Society using the historic buildings for something more than just storage. Again, I've come before you as a single person in the past. Today, I have both residents of the 20th and the 3rd Ward who have been in the community a total of 120 years. So we are committed to this proposal. As you can see, we're not going anywhere, and I'm sure you aren't either. I know you're not. So all we ask is for your support, again, and to reconsider all the information that I've given you over the past years, and I have some more. From our last meeting on October 13, 2011, we were interviewed by the Chicago Weekly, and I have a copy of that which goes over what I've been talking about for a long time. Please reconsider and help the community, because we as a community need a library, which, by the way, books were donated from WVON Radio, which you were both on several times in the last few weeks, which is good. But the chairman of our institution, we hope to be Mr. Cliff Kelly, because he, being, I can say over 60 years old, was born in the community. So we're talking about people that have put their time, their effort, and their longevity into a proposal that we could use as a community meeting, as a place where people that come through Washington Park have no idea where to go, have a place to ask, because we will be volunteering, along with having some young people use their service hours to support the idea of a location that's willing to give and to share artifacts, historic artifacts, from the Bus-Silverton Parade and a whole lot of other things that have happened in Washington Park. Things have changed. We now need, for a minimum of 6-month period, transport thousands of people in front of a location that is now being used for storage that the community is willing to pay to renovate for usage. So, I really don't hate to come back saying the same thing. So let's work together and do something for the Washington Park community. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. Reverend Tom Belkey from First Trinity Lutheran Church at 31st and Lowell in Bridgeport, and Chair of Bridgeport Alliance. Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Claypool, I hope you received our phone calls. Okay, we'll talk to your secretary. We're glad to be here today. I come not just as a pastor in the Bridgeport community or just the chair of Bridgeport Alliance, but I come as part of a coalition of folks gathered here and folks in the nosebleed seats out in the hallway. We represent several communities. Bridgeport Alliance, in cooperation with the Little Village Environmental Justice Organization, have also brought together communities from Chinatown, from McKinley Park, from Bronzeville, Bridgeport, Little Village. We have a great group here, and if it's okay, I'd like the folks in the hallway just to give some acknowledgement. Can they say hi? Can you open that door for a second?
Yeah, I think we
thank you.
Well, it's important you know how many people care.
We couldn't all fit in this room. There's hundreds of reasons we have for why the full 31st Street route from Cicero to the Lake Road up to the museum campus, which those JARC funds were meant for, is preferable than the 35th, over the 35th Street route. But I'm going to give you two examples of my own, since we have lots of folks here. We don't want to waste anybody's time. When I first became a pastor in the Bridgeport neighborhood almost 4 years ago, among my first week of ministry, a senior in at our congregation came to me. He was just the first of many, looking for a ride to Mercy Hospital. It's a little weird. As a new pastor, you don't know. All of a sudden, you're given rides every day, multiple times, because it turns out for the folks in Bridgeport, Bronzeville, McKinley Park, there's no way to actually access Mercy Hospital without several transfers, and our seniors are left stranded. The only places they can go is to ask for rides, and most of the folks in our community can't afford an ambulance bill. The other folks who meant a lot in the community are seniors who now are at senior suites, who are on 31st and Wentworth, who are all up and down the 31st Street route. Right now, they have no way to access grocery stores like Dominic's at Ashland and 31st. Cermak Foods, as our alderman pointed out, which is at 31st and Halstead, and the other grocery stores along the route, which leaves our seniors stranded with cruddy food and poor health. We're here today to ask you as a group to support the full 31st Street route as was proposed for the JARC funds rather than this 35th Street reroute. It seems fairer for all of the communities around the route, and it would help bring our people together. So please support the full 31st Street route. Thank you. Christine, would you like to take the mic?
Good morning. My name is Christina Cecilia. I'm the outreach coordinator at a 100-year-old community center called Benton House, which is located off of 31st Street in Bridgeport. I'm also the vice chair of Bridgeport Alliance. I'm here with family, friends, and neighbors to illustrate the crucial need for the reinstatement of the 31st Street funds. At Benton House, we run a food pantry that serves over 100 families every single week. And last Friday, we were about to begin our food pantry distribution, and a senior waiting in line said she fell to the ground. We asked her why she fell, and she told us, "My legs gave out because I was so exhausted. I walked in the heat all the way from my home in Bronzeville." She lives directly east of us at Benton House, and finds it difficult to access public transportation, and especially while carrying a 30-pound box of food. Every day I listen to seniors, youth, and families who constantly express their need for a safer and more accessible way to travel east and west on 31st Street. So I'm here today representing the 2,000 families we serve just in our food pantry, youth program, and theater services. Our constituents are not only from Bridgeport, but span Chinatown, Rockville, McKinney Park, and Little Village. Benton House provides critical programming in social services, education, job training, and a welcoming safe space for people to gather. Whether it's Bridgeport native in our senior exercise group, or a teenager in our sound engineering program, or a recently unemployed parent in our food pantry, they all have expressed accessibility and safety issues coming to our space. So one of the options on the table is a 31st Street extension. Although we are not against this extension, we know that the route will not serve all of the communities, including where we are in Bridgeport, and other communities east of Kedzie. In order to gain accessible and safe transit for all communities along the proposed 31st Street bus routes, we ask that you listen to the voices of these neighborhoods, our supporting senators, commissioners, aldermen, and please utilize this available JARC funds to bring back the full 31st Street bus route from Cicero to the lake.
Thank you. Ms. Sullivan, you are the next person that contacted me, so if you want to speak.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us. My name is Maureen Sullivan. I'm a Bridgeport business owner, member of the Bridgeport Alliance, and Bridgeport native, and also an at-large delegate for IBI IPO. Bridgeport development and business development in Little Village, Brighton Park, McKinley Park, Bridgeport, and Bronzeville is intimately related to the reinstatement of the full 31st Street bus route from Cicero to the lakefront. That's what I'm here to advocate for today. Cambridge Systematics, a well-known transportation consulting firm, conducted a study that proved that dollars invested in public transportation flow through all sectors of the local community through increased jobs, income, profit, and tax revenue, providing economic stimulus far exceeding the original investment, as much as $6 to the dollar invested. There are approximately 300 licensed businesses along the full proposed 31st Street route that would benefit from the reinstatement of the 31st Street bus. This bus will create job growth, which is critical to our real estate markets, and increase access to employment from east to west. Since the approved JARC grant is a Jobs Access Reverse Commute grant, it's only right to expect this grant to be used in the manner that it was awarded, to provide job growth and employment stability along this full route. The full route, including Kedzie to the lakefront, would serve the 300 businesses, 16 schools, not just a few schools, 16 schools, including IIT, who I'm told is moving their business school and 1,000 students to their campus next year. It would serve Mercy Hospital, and it would serve McCormick Place, several grocery stores, other retail stores, and the possibility for the reinvigoration of the business along the whole route. The number of jobs that are available and business opportunities for our residents cannot be denied. Connections to the orange, red, green, and the new metro station that's located at the home of the world champion White House would be available too. Let's not forget, there is a planned closure of the Red Line for 5 months starting next May. Additional access to transportation will help alleviate the burden to our businesses and our neighbors. However, if today you vote yes to reinstate the 36th Street extension proposed route, there will only be 88 businesses served and a severe lack of connections to the major bus and train routes for everyone. Bridgeport currently has 2 award-winning restaurants, 3 thriving art centers, and a very popular bar and coffee house, all centered around 31st and Morgan. Imagine what we could build if there was easy access to these locations. Please join us with Commissioner John Daly, Senator Munoz, Senator Manny Hunter, Alderman James Foster, Alderman Pat Dahl, Alderman George Cardenas, Alderman Ricardo Munoz, and Senator Martin Sandoval to push to reinstate the full 31st Street bus now. Thank you.
First of all, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me the opportunity to speak to you this morning. Good morning. My name is Paul Sickes, and I'm an Army veteran of 12 years, served in Vietnam, Korea, and Federal Republic of Germany twice. I also recruited for the Army at Midway Airport for 6 years, enlisted over 350 people. I guess you could say I'm kind of a proud Chicagoan. I was a state medicine street science in tonight Vietnam for Mayor Richard J. Daley in 1971, as Alderman Walter can attest to. He helped us get the science in the Veterans Art Museum. Except for the time that I spent away in the service, I've been from Bridgeport all my life. I'm 100% disabled Vietnam vet from illnesses and injuries I received in Vietnam. I've been going to Jesse Brown VA Hospital, formerly the Westside VA, at David and Taylor for over 40 years. I've been hospitalized 15 times in the last 5 years, and I go to the hospital every 2 weeks. Sometimes every week, sometimes a couple of times a week. Presently, I have to take 3 buses. including one, Arthur, that takes me a little bit away from the hospital. I tried to Halsted. I've got to go 3.5 blocks in this wheelchair to Halsted, over to Roosevelt. I don't do that often because at Roosevelt and Halsted I get passed up. It's happened to me several times because there's already 2 wheelchairs on the bus. And I'm heading right into the medical district. U of I, County Disclosure, VA, plus all the students at U of I. If only there was a 31st Street bus, I could take 31st to Diamond, less buses, less up and down the ramp. And I've had a couple of close calls going up and down the ramp, but they're wonderful. And I wouldn't run over as many toes as I do. I do that occasionally. I've been dealing with soldiers ever since I was in veterans, ever since I was a teenage soldier. I joined the Army when I was 17, went to Vietnam when I was 18, and I got out and came back here to Chicago when I was 19 years old, already back from Vietnam. Now I'm 60. I've been dealing with soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines for 40 years. I run through the American Legion, I'm a life member of the VFW. They're both right off 31st Street. I'm only one of many veterans I know living on both sides of 31st Street. Yes, the government told us that they would take care of our injuries received in war, but many veterans have to depend on the VA because they don't have insurance and they can't afford to go to the doctor. We need prescription tests, doctor's appointments, physical therapy. I'm unable to drive a car in my wheelchair as I fit in a car. I'm 100% disabled and I'm 100% dependent on the CTA for my transportation to and from the VA. It's hard enough on a beautiful day like today, but in a typical Chicago winter, it's brutal. I live a half a block, 31st Street, a little bit 30th than normal, and I can't even take the bus to the 31st Street Beach. I saw it once, and I had to take my wheelchair over 2 miles to get there. I ask you to please implement the entire 31st Street bus from Cicero to the lakefront now. This impacts me personally, but it would be a great benefit to a large number of people. I thank you for your time, your thoughtful consideration, and I salute you for the fine work that you do. Thank you.